Hey guys, so I am here on Sunday afternoon. The guys have gone to the movies, which allows me to get some time to focus on making my soap. Soap making for me is extremely, and I will film this video. It's going to be a little longer than usual because I'm just going to take you through the process. All right, so what I am going to be making today is Black Raspberry Vanilla. This is a fragrance oil. It's by Brambleberry, and again, it's called Black Raspberry Vanilla. It smells amazing. It's a little fruity and fresh, so I am really looking forward to that. Now here I have my my kaolin clay, which I put on every batch of soap. What does the clay do? The clay does a few things. It provides silkiness to the soap and therefore your skin. And another thing that it does is that it gives the color of the soap just a little whiteness that I really enjoy. And then finally, it is, again, just wonderful for your skin. Now, to get the black color or dark or blackberry color, I put a teaspoon of alkanet root here, which is a natural powder or herb, I should say. I put a little bit of oil in these little jars, and I can blend them with my little, blender here, so that I avoid having big clumps of unmixed powder into the big batch of soap. So my plan here is to have a black and white swirl kind of effect. Let's see how it goes. I have my mold standing by over here. I know you cannot see that, but I do want to show you that I have melted here my coconut oil, palm oil. I have a little bit of lard here, as well as apricot oil. So this is a wonderful blend of oils that are fantastic for the skin. In addition to that, it does create a beautiful lather. All right, so I want to show you that I do measure the temperature of my oils to make sure that it is at least in the 80s, and here it's reading 86.2 degrees Fahrenheit. I have also mixed in my lye solution, and I am so happy that my ice maker is working again. I had to have that repaired. This is measuring 87.3 degrees. This is perfect. Hotter than that, 100 or 90s, it can cause the soap batter to seize, or I should say clump up really fast, and therefore it's difficult to work with and potentially ruin the entire batch of soap. So having the ingredients close to room temperature is a lot more preferable, as well as safer for the entire event. Some people ask me, how long does it take you to make soap? Well, to be honest with you, the whole process, if you were to do it from beginning to end, let's say that all your supplies were out and everything, the station is all ready for you, and the oils have already been mixed and poured and melted down, as well as cooled down, and the lye solution as well, then it takes, gosh, an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes if possible. However, it's the whole setting up, prepping, melting, mixing, waiting for things to cool down somewhat. All of that takes a lot more time. So when I make soap, I'm also doing other things. I'm doing laundry on the side. I'm maybe doing some ironing for the rest of the week, or now that we have dogs, now I'm taking the dogs out. So between the time that I start the process of making soap and the final pouring into the mold, I would say it takes me about 4 hours. But again, I am, well, I don't want to say multitasking, because that's not quite the case. What I'm doing is waiting for things to cool down and to be at its proper temperature. All right, another thing too that I notice that I do is I don't necessarily always have a plan as far as what I want the soap to be and how I'm going to, what design I'm gonna go for. But it all comes down to after, I'm gonna pour here the lye solution. There is no lint. My lye solution is nice and cool because I use ice cubes and a little bit of water in order to pour the hydrogen peroxide, but oh my gosh, this is becoming a really confusing video. What I'm trying to say here is that I use the ice in order to make that solution cool off a little bit. All right, so now I have the lye and it mixed in with the oils, and what that's gonna do is going to begin to emulsify. All right, the oils and that acid are going to bind the water and everything else together, and this is where it starts to become crucial. Now, what I'm gonna do as well, before I start blending anything, I give it a good stir, I am going to pour approximately half of this mixture into another container so that I have the black and white swirl that I'm looking for. All right, so I haven't started mixing yet, but what I'm going to do, or blending I should say, this is gonna be my dark. Okay, so this is again a little bit of oil mixed in with the alkanet root. It looks to me like I could use a better spatula, maybe a little thinner, in order to get all that. I don't like to waste anything. It's like every little drip of everything matters, not only because I don't want to waste everything, but this is a chemical process. You have your measurements just right, but then you omit or add to the recipe as you are pouring from container to container, and that, I think, affects a recipe, right? A little bit of sugar or a little bit of salt here and there, more than what you're expecting if you're baking in this case, would affect the recipe. Same with soaping. All right, so in addition to the kaolin clay, which provides a little whiteness, I'm also going to pour in a little bit of what's called titanium dioxide. And I put that in a little bit of water. I'm gonna do a little teaspoon here, the 2 half teaspoons. So this is going to go into this batter, okay? And I'm gonna use a different spatula to get that in there. And again, this guy makes this beautiful white color, and now we are ready to rock and roll. Every ingredient that one places into the soap batter, meaning the oils and the lye solution, affects how quickly the batter is going to react. All right, so here we go. I am going to also pour half of the fragrance oil in this batch, and then half into this one, so that that fragrance is throughout the entire bar of soap. Okay, again, I wish I could scrape every single drop of that in here, but at this point, once you get the lye into the oils, it's a matter of working fast. Now you see how watery this is? This is beautiful. However, I still need to make sure that the oils, the water, and all of those ingredients are emulsified or binded together. Oh, my doggies are like, what's going on? I don't know, we haven't heard this yet. So the dogs are rescues. We went to the pound and we got doggies because it's time. You know, it's just, my son is a little older now. He's 11 years old. He's a lot more responsible and could use, you know, some companionship as well as taking care of them. He's walking them. And he's turning out to be a fantastic pack leader. So I'm very proud of him. Okay, so this is still a little watery. So if I were to mix these guys, it might create a bit of a muddly effect, and that's not really what I want. But I also know that by the time I mix the other one, this is gonna start to solidify. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move forward. And it's best to also go from light to dark rather than dark to white, because then you risk having the beautiful white color get muddled with the dark color. Anyway, here we go. I use these little pulses of the blender so that I don't over mix, and then I kind of give it a break and just swirl back and forth. If you can see here, the oil is still on top, meaning it's still not quite binding. That's okay. Now it's coming together. See, it's getting a little milky, and that's beautiful. All right. Okay, so there, it's thickening up quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. And I am going to go back and forth to make that swirl design that I'm looking for. I've done it before, and in my opinion, at that time, it didn't come out as swirly. The swirl that I was looking for wasn't quite there, but looking back at pictures now of that soap, I'm like, you know what? That wasn't bad at all. I think it was quite beautiful. So this is the trick that I'm going to do here. I'm going to work fairly fast without making a mess. And I am going to create a bit of a tilt for my mold so that I can easily control the distribution of this batter. There's so many soapers out there who make such beautiful designs, and they make it look so easy. And I just know that everything is possible as long as the consistency of the batter is what it should be. And that is what sometimes I struggle with. Therefore, I stick to a lot of soaps that are either one solid color or have kind of like a crazy swirl, so that I'm not overthinking it and que será. So going for a more deliberate design takes a lot of discipline, practice, and quite frankly, a little bit of luck. The beautiful thing is that the more one makes soap and tries different things, the better one becomes, just like everything else, correct? So people tend to, I think we as human beings, we tend to label everything. And when people say, oh, you're a soap maker, yes, but I'm also a realtor, a business owner, an entrepreneur. I face paint. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. So just because I do certain things, it doesn't mean that I am stuck with a label or an identity. There's a phrase that's called jack of all trades but expert of none. I think that there is some truth to that, but I also think that when one is passionate and dedicated about certain things, why can't you be an expert at all of the above, right? And I'm not saying I'm an expert at everything. In my opinion, we're all a work in progress, and we all learn if we allow ourselves to. I am happy that I have these outlets where I can express my creativity. I can walk away from other duties that tend to become time consuming. And my point with this is that it's important to have outlets. It's important to have time off. It's important to connect with your inner child at times. And it's important to do what brings you joy. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, I'm going to keep pouring this until it becomes, well, until I'm out of batter, right? So as you can see, this is becoming, and you know what, guys? I forgot to wear gloves. Please do not follow my example. Wearing gloves during this entire process is super important due to the fact that this is, the lye solution is quite harsh and it's stinging my hands right now. But I also know my limits and that I'm okay at this point. But I do not recommend doing this without gloves, eye protection, and well, in my case here, a hairnet, because the last thing I want in your soap is my hair. Ew, right? Okay, I don't know what to do. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and do this guy last. I feel like I need to get a little mold and then just go with that. Okay. What I'm gonna do here is tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. I'm gonna do one more dark, because I do want this to be a nice size bar with plenty of, plenty of soap on every single bar of soap, if that makes any sense. I typically measure out for this particular mold 1,500 grams of oil. And it fits this mold along with the water and everything else beautifully. So this is what we're gonna do next, guys. Check this out. So we have alternated the swirl. So now what we're gonna do is swirl it all around. You see that? Yeah, baby. See? That's right. Now, if I was wearing gloves, I could just whoop, but I'm not. So what I'm going to do next is, unfortunately, move this around a little bit. I'm going to use this technique here. on the surface just to use up, see that? Use up all of my batter. Why? This is precious, guys. It's liquid gold. You'd be surprised at how expensive materials are for soap making. The oils, the butters, yeah, it's so expensive. The shipping, forget about it. You're paying, if I'm purchasing $100 worth of raw material, I'm paying $100 for shipping. I mean, everything is just double with shipping. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It is what it is. And I'm going to continue to do this until I don't want to anymore. And also, guys, I am opening the shop. Did I tell you that? I think I have, but I'm not sure if I mentioned it already on this video. My company's name is Ena Essentials. I started it back in, what, 2012? I can't remember now. Okay, and yeah, then we moved to Germany. My husband's a service member, or was. He's retired now. He's a veteran. And I had a successful little business in El Paso, Texas. But then we moved to Germany, and I could not continue to make soap there for various reasons. Anyway, now I'm back. My baby is older, like I said, and I can now take the time that I used to take to make this beautiful form of art. That's why it's called artisan soap, because there are never any identical productions of handmade soap. So I want to invite you to our grand opening. It's going to be August 16th, Saturday. The shop is in the city of Radcliff. It's going to be on a little red brick building, 707 North Dixie Boulevard. I'm inviting you now so that you can come out and purchase this beautiful soap. Here is my Black Raspberry Vanilla. It smells divine, and you know what? When I unmold it tomorrow or the next day, you will see how beautiful it is on the inside. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook, give me a thumbs up, let me know what kind of fragrances you'd like to have some soap made, and I am here to serve. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.